He took all 6 of the anal fleshlights, bro.
What do you mean?
Oh, have you not heard?
Nah.
It's about the like streamer drama. Have you heard about that guy? The guy who scammed a bunch of people.
Oh
I
yeah.
did hear about that.
He stole 6 fleshlights from somebody's house also, which I think is the funniest grift.
I've never
What's he
heard of
need
that.
them for?
It's a lot.
6 of them is too many also.
2 is too many.
Yeah, it's like
That's just
Who has
too greedy. That's butthole greed right there.
same house?
yeah, the same
Why did the same house have
Yeah,
them? That
yeah,
might
why
have been
did they have
deserved.
it?
is the guy it was the
Were they all of them?
Huh?
Steal from
Were,
the rich.
did he take all of them in the house? Were there more left in the house?
Yeah,
No, that was all the ones.
that was the whole stock.
Yeah. It was
Damn, cleaned them out.
the streamer Rich Campbell, who is dating the porn star Mia Malkova, and
okay.
it was her
okay.
her flashlight, and
Makes way
that's why
more
they had
sense.
6 of them.
That
And
makes so much
It was a
more sense.
product.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were storing product.
But still, I'm opening with that just because I think that was the funniest thing I've ever heard in terms of like online person drama.
Yeah.
Is like he
it's
stole
probably
6
up there.
flashlights.
And also like tens of thousands of dollars. But
Yeah.
more
Way less important because it's less
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here to talk about anime. This is MALadjusted, and we're back.
Yes, sir.
So it's been a couple weeks, and
Yeah, slightly off schedule.
now we're almost at the end of the season. Kind of some series are having their like penultimate episode. Some series still have 2 episodes left, but we're getting towards the end, and you know, we're coming up on being able to give our like final thoughts on some series. Have some series ended already? I don't know.
don't think so.
None that I'm watching.
Okay.
Isekai Oji-san is on a hiatus, and we can maybe talk about that in a little bit, but it's not coming back until the middle of like November. So
What?
yeah, I guess I can talk about that now. I don't remember what I think it was COVID or something with the staffing of the company that was working on it, but episode 7 was the last one, and then they said they were going on an indefinite hiatus, and then they came out a little bit later and were like, we're just going to replay the show from episode 1 in the fall season. So once we reach episode 7 or 8 or whatever in the fall season, it'll be new content again.
Huh.
So it's just delayed, which is a shame because like I said last time, I'm thoroughly enjoying the show. So
That's
Oh, well.
has that happened before?
Not in recent memory.
Yes, I cannot remember what show that, but like they did this. Oh, it was fucking Galto Kyoru. The
Oh
girl in
yeah.
Diana. They did the same thing. It aired in spring. They went on hiatus. This was, I think, literally in peak pandemic COVID. So that's
Yeah.
part of why.
Like
And then
actually
they
like
just-
2020
yeah.
like
Yeah, it
Like
was actually
literally
2020.
But then they picked it back up in October. Did the same thing. Started from episode 1, and then when they got to whatever episode they were on, the new content began.
that is crazy. How do they swing that with it? Because like they've got to like probably like sign all sorts of contracts with like the networks they're broadcasting with, right? And like
Yeah.
streaming, and well, streaming maybe is a little bit perhaps easier to work around, but like still, that's got to be a huge headache for somebody to negotiate with TV
Yeah.
networks on.
I have to assume it's the worst case scenario. And I think that's part of why they do the rebroadcast instead of just take like 3 weeks off and then start it back up. It's because of TV
'Cause
slots.
you gotta have something on the air
Yeah.
for the TV slot.
That's why other shows have done the like wait for months before the last episode airs, like with Wonder Egg, or like Kekai Sensen did that. 86 did that last year. It's because they like once this season is like fucked up, then they need to find the time slot on TV that it'll work.
Yeah, that's unique. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully it comes back and the production isn't totally scuffed and like feels weird at the at the end half. But I don't know, so far I've just I've been watching Overlord still. This show really sucks. Like it's actually like it's gotten worse over the course of watching it.
Ah,
Yeah, where like and I don't understand what the show is trying to tell me. Uh because like a big I guess like a big recent plot point is like the they decide to make war with one of the kingdoms to like make an example of them, and they decide, oh, we're just gonna kill everyone in the kingdom. We're just gonna do
We're
like
just gonna kill him.
we're just gonna kill
Kill
them.
him.
But yeah, they decide that they're just gonna kill him and they're gonna do like fun genocide or whatever. And
Fun.
the prince goes out to meet him and like pretty reasonably explains like, you know, you kind of don't have to do this. Like we've offered to surrender several times. Like it's honestly probably better for you if you just accept it, and like, you know, it's morally superior in, you know, also just like maybe consider that. And the guy's like, yeah, but I don't feel like it.
But also
And
get fucked.
yeah, it's like I don't understand what they're going for, because it's not like it would be one thing if it was a show about like him being corrupted or whatever, like him eventually becoming a villain,
Yeah.
because that can be really compelling. But it's like it's trying to frame it as like, oh, this is just morally neutral actions he's taking, is just deciding that he's going to slaughter a surrendering enemy. And
Uh-huh.
you know, that's it's just what he feels like doing, and so that's okay, I guess. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make him more interesting. It doesn't make the other characters more interesting. It doesn't like present any unique challenges for him. Like it's just very weird how they treat like him being a like ostensibly an evil guy, because he's evil and he does evil things, but the show kind of like treats it so plainly and so like neutrally that it kind of doesn't have any impact whatsoever. And that's how Overlord's been going.
I see.
Yeah. How's Ruby been, Wade?
Yes. Yes. So we are basically done. They released episode 12, and it sort of tied up the main plot points of the new original content that they've added in. And judging from the title of the 13th episode, we're probably just gonna get a sort of rehashing of early season 2 content, I think, because it had the same episode title as the first episode in season 2. So I just assumed that the 13th episode is just gonna be some rehashing of season 2 content, and with any luck, maybe set up for a second season. Like, my ideal world would to be have this team just do the rest of Ruby in their own way, the way they think it should be done, because this has been a really, really, really fucking good show. It's everything. It's what it should have been. There's a lot of I hesitate to say care, because production was very obviously spotty on this show, but respect, I think.
What do you mean spotty? Is it like, is it ever distracting, or is it just like not as good as it could have been?
There's some some episodes that are just like very, very obviously like rushed. There's a lot of CG in a lot of places that just like doesn't make any sense. There's some scenes that are just cut in a way where it's like you could tell that there were probably more things they wanted to do with it, but just sort of didn't because of time.
Okay,
Just
so
stuff like that. But on the whole,
typical
you know,
seasonal anime stuff.
yeah, typical seasonal anime stuff. But they did pay the series a lot of respect. They had a very strong understanding of what its strongest qualities were and played to those, while also beefing up all the aspects that were intensely weak.
That's good.
Probably because they have like real
Yeah,
competent
yeah.
industry people writing it.
They have competent industry people who went to school for things like this and not
Yeah.
just... I think I mentioned
And have
this
worked on
last
shows
episode,
before.
but like the people who ran the original run were dudes who were brought on to voice act for Red versus Blue. Like they're not writers or directors or showrunners. They don't know what that is. And
But
like
they do know how to play Halo.
unfortunately, they do know how to play Halo. Yeah, but
You know what?
turns out
That
it doesn't
got 'em
translate
somewhere.
well. It did
That
get
got
it
'em-
did get them somewhere.
Yeah, it got them a featured spot in Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
It did give them a
And
featured
honestly-
spot in Blaze Blue Cross Tag.
That's a goal everyone really can shoot for.
That's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's all for the BB tag.
I think I have a little bit of insight into the production. And then this is because I decided to watch all of Maggio Record, which was a mistake. But Shaft clearly has a B team that like they have been developing to work on these like I don't know what to call like tie-in sort of semi-promotional like brand shows. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
the only way I could describe Ruby and Maggio Record.
Yeah, they're licensed shows. Like
yeah,
they're
licensed
shows
shows.
for a license.
Because Maggio Record's advertising the game that it's based off of,
Yeah.
obviously, and then Ruby's just a big tie-in. But I like it's clearly not the main A team because the main Shaft A team you can tell when they're working on the production. Especially if they got like their directors like Shimbo or the other Monogatari guy that's working on Call of the Night right now. But like they're not like messy disasters or like you know there's some of the seasonal shows you've seen where the budget is just in the garbage can.
Oh yeah, no, it
like-
wasn't anything like that.
No, but you can tell it's a little bit like strained, and then like randomly there will be these fight sequences or something where they like have Sakuga through the roof and it actually looks great
Yeah.
because there are clearly talented people working on the team. It's just like not all the way. And I actually went and looked, and one of the directors of Ruby is the director of Maggio Record, so I'm sure it's probably the same team doing it.
Yeah.
That show was crazy, by the way.
Is it good?
That is a really hard question to answer. I would say mostly no, but I think it has merit in some ways. But the problem is that it's kind of long. It's like 2.5 seasons.
Ooh.
It's two 12-episode seasons and then a like 6-episode short. Oh no, wait, that's not true. No, it's really more like 2 seasons. I forgot because season 2 was like 8 episodes and then season 3 was like 4 or something.
Oh, okay.
They did some weird. That was also like a COVID thing. Season 3 was better. Like they ended it well. And there were some really really good action Sakuga scenes.
Does it have anything to do with like the original series or anything like that?
Yeah,
or
the
is
main cast are characters and show up in it, and when they're in it, it's usually good.
Oh.
And when they're not, then it falls off.
Oh, okay.
It's I think either an alternate timeline or like one of the timelines that Homer was looping in is the like logic.
Cool.
So, and there's a lot of girls, just a whole lot of girls that are in the mobile game and have different outfits, and I have to keep track of them. And some of them look the same, and so it made keeping the rather complicated and like unnecessarily over detailed plot in order a little tricky, especially in the middle of season 2. Yeah, I would not recommend it unless you're just really jonesing for like Madoka content. And I get it. It's been a while.
I think I'm good on Madoka content. I watched the original series, and then people that I trust told me not to watch Rebellion.
You should watch Rebellion.
Should I?
Yeah,
No.
you should.
You don't have to.
It's good.
Or
let me rephrase.
Conflicting answers here.
I think watching Rebellion is a good use of your time. I don't necessarily love Rebellion or think that it is like the like what it did for the plot of Madoka, but I think visually it is a very cool and entertaining movie that
Okay.
is worth watching. Like I think for
I guess
the
I can agree
Mommy
with that.
Homura fight alone is worth watching.
I've watched some
Like I said,
visually interesting mid.
yeah, that's how I would describe it. I would say it's even on the upper end. Like it's if you can buy into what they're trying to do to the story, then it's better. And I think there's a lot of people that like it. I don't. I think it's dumb, and I don't really like the way it sort of. Wade, you've seen it, right? It sounds like you
Yeah.
have. Yeah,
To be fair, I saw it like when it came
well,
out,
yeah,
and
in
haven't
2013
seen
or
it or
something.
thought about it since. So I'm a little
It
shaky on what exactly happened.
it
But I just remember I
basically
hated it.
it basically overturns the ending of Madoka
Yeah.
in a way that I didn't like because I think that Madoka's really tight and I like the way that
Yeah.
it ends. So, it kind of upends all of that and changes the status quo. And what I have heard is that it was mostly due to corporate meddling, and that Irabuchi had a different idea for how the story was going to go, and I think it was supposed to tie into a potential season 2. Um, and so he wanted the way he wanted to end the movie originally was going to be very different, and that it was going to be more of a sequel bait tie-in to something that like was going to happen, and then that didn't happen, and the studio wanted him to like completely change the ending, and that's why it feels weird and truncated.
Mm.
And we might eventually like we're gonna get that Wellspurge Snot whatever movie eventually that is supposed to follow up on it, and so we'll see. Maybe it'll be worth it in the long run.
Maybe.
Better
Only
or
time will tell.
better or worse than the Evangelion rebuilds?
The
Uh,
Evangelion rebuilds are like the
I
shittiest thing ever.
oh I love the fourth one. I thought it was very good, but that that's a different conversation.
I think we had that
can be its own
conversation.
episode.
Yeah, that's funny. But speaking of stuff that's long, Summertime Render still has 2 more episodes.
Dude, am I caught up on that? Let me check real quick. I'm very close, if not fully caught up. No. I know what it is. I haven't seen the most recent episode,
What
but
is
so
it?
I'm mostly
23?
20. Oh, are we that far? I
Yeah.
thought we were on. Hold on.
23 out of 25.
Oh no, my subgroup's just my guy that's doing my subs is behind. The last one he did was 21.
Oh,
So I am that's we are on we've seen 20 is the most recent, so I am a couple behind.
okay.
But yeah. Dude,
We're
it's been
we're almost
fucking
done.
insane.
It's I think like the past few episodes were really good. I think this latest episode is a little bit slow, but hopefully it's just setting up for like the finale in the last 2 episodes. I won't
Yeah.
say what happened because obviously I don't want to spoil it for you since you are watching.
Right.
But I've been having a good time. It's I would still describe it as for the most part Steins Gatesian in terms
Yeah.
of like the way the plot is paced, the like atmosphere, kind of like the vibe it's going for. That's how I would describe it. Which some people like. Uh, some people think it's a little too corny, a little too cheesy. I like that it's a little corny and a little cheesy and, you know, kind of stupid, plays a little bit fast and loose with its concepts, but, you know, I'm having a good time. And, you know, it's not often you see a, you know, full 25 episodes really
Yeah.
get a concept out there, really
I love that shit, dude.
not cutting any corners, not taking shortcuts. It's you get the full story.
It feels like we are getting a proper adaptation of this manga that like it is I love the pacing. I think the pacing is really good.
It is really well paced. It doesn't feel like any episodes are like a waste of time or anything like that.
Yeah, they drip feed you the information, and then in the like back half they really start to ramp up the set pieces and the action and all the like different character development. It's been really tight. Like the last episode, like spoilers a little bit. The last episode I watched was when a pretty important character beefed it finally. Which I
yeah.
kind of called yeah. So that was it was surprising, but also not like that is the kind of stakes that I was expecting us to get to. as we accelerate sort of towards the end, and also the way that it all happened was really interesting. I
Mm-hmm.
still like how meta it is. I like how aware it is of its own genre and the story it's trying to tell, and how it like subverts expectations based on that. Because you always you think, oh, this is how that's gonna go because I know how these time loop mechanics work, and then they like to keep throwing interesting wrenches in it, which just makes it really
Yeah.
compelling.
And it never, I feel like it doesn't make you too comfortable with like the amount of information that you have about like the problem they have to solve, because that can be kind of, frustrating when you're watching a show that's supposed to be a mystery and you have all the pieces of the puzzle and you have a whole week to put it together before the next episode, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I've already figured out what's going to happen because the show told me everything and didn't withhold any information. It didn't keep it a mystery, you know.
Yeah.
But this keeps it a mystery for the most part, and uh, I've been having a good time with it.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best shows this year. It's quite good. And
If
I'm
the
excited to
last
see
two
how it wraps.
episodes feel like, because obviously I don't know how much they can mess it up in the last two episodes. It's been done before, but
Oh, yeah.
uh, who knows? I'm definitely saying that this is probably gonna be one that I'll look back on fondly from this season.
Everything I've heard from people who have read the manga, it seems like they like the end, and so hopefully that means that it'll wrap up well. I am still very interested to see how it'll all come together.
Mm-hmm. So you are a few episodes behind on this one. How about Licorice Recoil? How
Um,
how caught up are
I
you
think
on
I'm
that one?
I think I'm one back on that one.
Okay.
The last thing that happened was that both girls are now there and confronting the bad guy
Ah,
after that last episode or whatever. So I think
yeah.
I'm one back.
Because I just watched the latest episode, which is, where is my folder where I keep it?
12. I
Yeah,
think
episode
12.
12. Yeah. I just watched
We haven't
episode
seen that one yet.
12. Uh, it's good. Um, it's really got me excited for the finale. Uh, all it has to do is stick the landing. All it has to do is give me an ending that doesn't completely ruin all the themes and the ideas and the tone of the series. All it has to do is not completely like crash into a wall, and
Yes.
I'll feel good about it. So I've had a great time. It's been a show with really good action, really enjoyable characters. Uh, and at this point, even if they ended up baiting me, you know what? I'm okay. Even if these girls don't kiss, I'm fine at this
I
point.
think they'll keep it open ended and not confirm anything. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this one.
Boo! But
I
yeah,
I
I
I
understand.
I hope. I will hope. I'll hold out hope. I will say, for the first time in this entire show's runtime, in episode 11, the show lost me for about like 2 minutes. I really didn't like a thing, which honestly is literally the first time it's happened in the rest of this show because I've liked it quite a bit.
Really, I'm interested
Yeah.
to hear what it
So okay.
was.
So it's minor, which is why I'm able to get over it. I just think it was incredibly stupid.
Oh,
So this is gonna have to get into some spoilers. I know Wade has not seen this.
It's all right. I'll
Uh,
forget.
yeah, it's gonna get into the details, so hopefully that helps. So when the bad guy is doing his speech to the whole country and revealing all the like, oh my God, there's this semi-military organization made up of children or whatever, and then
yeah.
so he's giving the speech, and then like it cuts to the girl, one of the Lycurus girls that's like on the street. Um, and they like describe the uniform and show what they look like, and so people see her and they're like, oh, it's one of the girls or whatever.
Uh huh.
And then he's also distributed out guns to strangers or whatever,
Which has to
right?
be maybe the funniest.
It's
Like,
extremely funny.
It's
it's
so
such a
funny.
it's such a boss plan. It's like I've it's like a Mr. Beast video.
It
I've
really
left guns, thousands of guns around Tokyo for you to find.
and then use.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
so awesome.
what I didn't like about this scene is that there's this guy that has a gun in the crowd with this girl. He happens to have one of them, and he just like pulls it on her,
Yeah.
and then shoots. Like, she does not see him or register that he has the gun. He is not like being threatened. I would get it if the girl noticed the gun in his bag and then pulled her gun on him as like a safety precaution or whatever.
Right.
But that is not what happens. The dude draws and fires on her, and then they do the classic like both shoot each other at the same time kind of thing.
Right.
Um,
I'm willing to accept that, like, maybe they're going for like, oh, this is just like an unhinged guy who is like one gun in a brown paper bag away from doing crime. I don't know.
That if that's the case, that was not established at all. He just seems like some businessman. That
He does
picked up a
just
gun.
look like a salaryman.
And so,
It's a little stupid, but
yeah.
yeah.
It was really frustrating. I am fine with the whole villain setup. I think that works very well. I do not think that man had literally any reason to shoot a random 14-year-old girl like with a gun. And I was like, what the fuck? Why would you do that?
Sometimes you just gotta. I don't know.
You know, sometimes you just have to use a firearm that you're given to take the life of a child.
You're gonna discharge your service weapon.
That's
Exactly.
right. I will say
so that was the only thing in the episode. I was like, that's incredibly stupid. There's no reason that should have happened.
The bad guy himself, Majima, is a beast. I think he's so
He's
cool.
cool. He's goated. I think he could get redeemed by the end of the show. And now I haven't seen episode 12 yet, so maybe I don't know how that's gonna be.
I won't spoil it.
But he's got baggage. He's got baggage and trauma. Yeah. So we'll see.
I also like not super spoilery because they kind of established this really early on in the series, but there's like layers to like the different like extra governmental secret agencies, you know?
Yeah, there's
like
a bunch of them apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and like some of them are higher and more secret than others. Like what?
Yeah, just like real life.
Oh yeah, true.
Get up to the top, and that's when the adrenochrome starts coming into
Yeah,
the picture.
that's when you start talking to the alien flesh merchants.
Yeah, I don't know where in Japan that level is. I assume the Lycurus are like 2 or 3 down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought like this show really can get away with a lot because I think other people or like a less competent story would like some of the more recent plot points that have come up towards the end, people would see as contrived, like with Chisato and her heart, and like that being like, oh no, she's gonna fucking die, and then like, oh actually she's not if this all works out. But it has been executed like so well.
Yeah, I feel like there's if this were like a lazier show, it would have been like more melodramatic. It would have been more like just characters screaming, like doing the ReZero face where they like start crying and yelling.
Light novel author moment.
Yeah. And just it would have been kind of hacked. It wouldn't have been bad, but it would have been like boring. But it's been handled like surprisingly well in terms of like, you know, making a story's emotional points feel like realistic for the characters, especially like the types of characters we're dealing with, because it's like it wouldn't make sense for somebody like Takina to like just be constantly breaking down and screaming all the time, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No, this show is really well written. The screenwriting is like great.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
A good team. I'm enjoying it. Excited to see how it'll end.
Mm-hmm. What I'm kind of not I guess I'm not excited to see how it ends, but I'm honestly like kind of just bored with the show is Yurei Deko.
That's what I've been hearing. I watched that with a group of 2 friends, and we got to episode like 4 or 5, and one of them dropped it. So now it's just me and the other guy, and we haven't gotten back around to it. But we're both big Science Saru heads, so we're like, we'll do it. But yeah. I just keep hearing from everyone that it's kind of bad, and I'm like, damn.
I wouldn't say it's
so unlucky
bad, but like,
okay.
I guess there's a different. I guess like it definitely doesn't live up to what you would expect from like the visuals or like even the concept. It ends up being a lot more plain, a lot more like a lot less interesting than you'd think it should be. Because like when I looked at it, I'm like, wow, this is like Den no Coil meets Kaiba, and those two shows are goated.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking about a show that's like a combination of like two incredible shows that really nail their concept and like create wonderful like science fiction worlds, and then Yurei Deco is just kind of like okay, uh, and a little sloppy. It
Yeah.
does feel more disappointing knowing what I went into it like kind of expecting. So, eh,
Alas, rare
I,
science Sarvel.
yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as Japan Sinks, but
Yeah,
like,
no, not even close.
yeah,
And that one you also was actually making. So
yeah, you know. But yeah, it's all right. I mean, I'm gonna finish it because I've made it this far, but like, I probably won't think about it too much after it's done.
yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Did you
How's some of your other shows going?
I guess I could do that first. I was gonna ask if you watched Orbital Children from earlier this year
I
first, since you
did.
mentioned Identical. Was that good? I have not seen it yet.
I I liked it because I think the world that he creates, uh it's just like a really believable science fiction world, and all the characters make a lot of sense. They feel extremely consistent. The plot feels a little short because it is just like a 6 episode series. So if you think of it as like a big movie, you'll probably feel way better about it. But if
Mm.
you, because like I went into it thinking that it was going to be twice as long as it was, because I was under the misconception that like what I was watching was the first half and there was going to be a second half. So I watched
Yeah.
the first half and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I can't wait to see like the continuation, because it does kind of end on like a sequel hook. Uh, or what I perceived as a sequel hook. It could go either way, but then I learned like a couple weeks later, like, oh no, that was just it, and I had
Mhm.
to like kind of recalibrate my thinking about it. But I enjoyed it. I think Dental Coil is better just because it's longer. It has more time to like really breathe and like make you care a lot about what the characters are doing, and you get to see a lot more of the world. But yeah, Orbital Children was awesome. A great
Cool.
little piece of sci-fi there.
All right, I'll look forward to getting on that eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so the other stuff that I'm watching. Wade, are you were watching Call and I, right?
I
Or
haven't
no, you haven't
watched past
watched.
like episode 3. I'm
Okay,
like
cool.
eternally planning to catch up.
I'm pretty behind on it as well, but I will start by complaining about this because it's been getting worse, and I was hoping it wouldn't. I think this show would be so good if it was not obsessed with portraying romance between adult grown ass women and a literal 14-year-old boy. And I thought it was going to be a
Oh,
thing. I thought it was just going to be like, okay, clearly it's just the dynamic between the main two characters, and like she doesn't look super old, even if she's technically like a 50-year-old vampire. So I'll let it slide, um, and just like deal with it if I want to enjoy this
Monogatari
show.
rules.
Yeah, but
yeah.
there are many now other characters that have been introduced, and like all of them, there is like clear sexual undertones with this boy, and I'm like, if you're gonna make this your show where it's all about like exploring sexuality and like romance, why make him 18,
Why is
make
it
him a senior
degenerate?
in high school. His character design doesn't look super young. Like just make him older. It's so
Yeah,
fucking weird. Like because he's that young, you just like it's someone's fetish. You're like,
maybe
Yeah.
this
maybe
is just
even mildly hot take, or make the girls the same age as him. Like,
it's like I don't mind. I kind of like the
Yeah, but I
vibe
feel
of
like
all
you
the
can't
adult
explore the
vampires
same
because it's
things.
yeah, that's what the show's about really. So like I don't know, they introduce like a bunch of like other vampire characters, and you kind of realize that their whole thing is like quote unquote making children. Which the way that works is they have
ugh.
to make them fall in love with
Uh,
it's by making other
oh,
people vampires, right? And the way that works, it's not just biting them; it's like sucking their blood when they're in love with you. So their
which is
whole
such a
thing is
funny
just like
contrivance.
their whole thing is like, ooh, we're really good at getting men to fall in love with us and then basically ditching them or whatever. And it's like this.
Oh, so they're not vampires, they're just succubi. Like that
Yeah,
you
kind of.
you made a succubus. That's what you did. Like
And so there's a bunch of older characters, and then there's this whole sequence where they talk about like all the men they've been with, and then, I don't know, it's just weird. And I was like, and it sucks because the rest of the show is pretty good still. Like I'm enjoying it. It's the production values continue to be incredible. There's always good sequences. The writing is good. Like the character exploration is good. Um, I'm gonna stick with it, but I think that this element of it is gonna genuinely mar my enjoyment of it overall. I can't. Like why? Like I just Japan, way too. Because
Yeah.
if it was a girl, if the main character was a woman, and it was a bunch of old men vampires, no one would be letting it slide. Nobody would.
Yeah.
that would be so yucky.
But everyone's like totally okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is yucky still a little bit.
There was this show last year. I doubt if y'all watch. It's like, it has a weird long Japanese name.
Light novel.
Something Idaten. No, it's a manga. Heian Sedai no Idaten Tachi. Or the Idaten deities only know peace. It has a really cool opening. I have no idea how to describe it.
Oh
It's
yeah, I remember that.
it's a Mappa show that has really cool visuals and art design. Yeah, there was anyway, that's another instance of this. There was literal on-screen pedophilia between grown women and like children in that show.
Huh?
Like
Yeah.
explicit sex having. And that one just kind of slid over, and I never saw anyone complaining about that either. So I think it's just like people don't really care, both
Yeah.
in Japan and in the Western anime fan community. They're just
Yeah.
like based, and I'm like, I don't think that's what this is.
Yeah,
I'll say
I wouldn't say
Ida
that.
10 is drawn by Cool Kyoshinsha.
Yes,
who-
that
That
is why.
would be
That's
why.
That is why it's the same. guy.
Figured
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
yeah. Although not written by them, so takes two to tango, I guess.
I forgot to mention that it's bordering on to just be like, but the problem with it is like, aside from that, it's like a really interesting fantasy world and like a pretty good show aside from that.
There's the rub, right? Aside from the pedophilia, yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
seriously, like I was like, I'm gonna give this like an 8, but I will now be giving it either a 6 or a 7 because of the literal pedophilia.
Docked points for pedophilia.
And that's one of my wildest mal-notes that I've ever had to write.
Speaking of docking points for pedophilia, how's Made in Abyss going?
Yeah, I was also going to talk about that. You know what? Less pedophilia this season. Is that true? Let me think about that. Mostly.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Episode 1 of the first season has naked children,
Yeah,
so like
there has been less explicit sexualization of children, and anything that could be considered pedophilia, it is like very clearly in the show meant to be like condemnable and horrifying. Does that make it better? Like there's implications that some of the younger characters were like abused when they were back in the real world or whatever, and that's basically it. It's not as much on screen. Yeah, I am like 1 or 2 episodes behind on it, but it has been pretty incredible actually. It is rough, it's difficult to watch, but episode, let me find it. I wrote it down somewhere. It was one of the more recent episodes, like 9 or 10, was sort of the culmination of this arc, because the way that this show has been told so far, it has been kind of going back and forth between what's happening in real time and then a flashback that shows the origins of this village that they're in. So that the conclusion of that arc, I think, was one of the more moving pieces of media that I've seen probably all year. It was pretty incredible. It was like one of those things where you watch and you just kind of have to take a beat after, and it stuck with me for the rest of the night, kind of things. So, and that's pretty high praise that I can give to something if it like has me thinking about it from then on.
And I'm gonna have to. I'm
gonna have to give it the full recommend. I think season 2 is like at this point quite a bit better than season 1, and I liked season 1.
Yeah,
So-
I liked season 1 too, but I was just like, I was so put off by the weirdness about like kids that it's like, and that's like the thing, right? Is like I have to weigh, you know, I have to weigh like the cool parts of the other show, and then like,
Yeah.
but there's also this weird kid stuff, and it's like,
And that's still present. I think there is a little bit of it at the beginning of season 2, and then once you get past that, most of the stuff that is uncomfortable, I would consider to be being played for horror elements.
Okay.
Like it is meant to be bad and fucked up. And there's a lot of body horror and a lot of just like misery and tragedy, but it does tell a very compelling story.
Alright.
That we're getting into the climax now of it right now as well. So I'm interested to see how it's going to resolve.
Cool. Any other how any other shows?
Yeah, I would say, what else am I watching? That was the big one. Shadow's House season 2, still good, enjoying it. We just got a giant reveal from like the whole season 2 is kind of about a mystery, and we just got the big reveal of what that was, and I called it because I'm a genius. And also it was pretty obvious. That show's still fun.
Okay, cool.
Like the aesthetic a lot. What else am I? Oh, Hoshi, yeah. The adaptation of Biscuit Hammer is like exactly the same as it has been. It's still mid.
Yeah.
But the writing of the manga is carrying it severely.
So still a recommend on read the manga, right?
Yeah, read the manga.
Okay.
But that's about it. That's everything that I am watching right now.
All right. So what I took some time to watch this week, the last thing that I guess is like a seasonal show, is I watched the first episode of Tatami Time Machine Blues, which in contrast to the mild disappointment of Yurei Deko as a Science Saru production, I am pleased as punch watching this show because it feels like they just picked it up from the Tatami Galaxy. Like everything feels like, obviously I can still tell that it's a different director because it is being directed by
Natsume Shingo.
Yeah, Shingo Natsume instead of Masaaki Yuasa. But like he's a really good director, so that's okay. Yeah. And he still knows how to like include all the right, all the right little visual touches to make it familiar to people that watch the previous series. It feels like it's part of the same world. It feels, contiguous. The voice actor for Higuchi is different, unfortunately, because the original voice actor passed away. So that's something that you'll immediately notice if you're very familiar with the original series. But other than that, it was a really good introduction episode. It's only a 6-episode series, so it's half length. I think the episodes are a little bit long. So
yeah, slightly longer.
It's been good. It introduces the concept of time travel in a very fun way that just totally works for the series. The guy still talks really fast.
Yeah.
The girl is still like the coolest character ever. I think Akashi, isn't it her name? Akashi. Yeah, she's awesome. Ozu is still just a horrible goblin.
Love him. Love that guy.
Yeah, no, it's just more of these characters in a different situation. And I actually learned that because I obviously know like the idea of what the show is about, but it's based on the book, which is based on a play.
Yes, I also found that out recently, like an independent non-tatami play.
Yeah, the play was written by Makoto Ueda, who wrote the screenplay who did the screenwriting for the anime adaptation of the Tatami Galaxy. So it's all kind of like incestuous, like mixed up in there. And there's also a live action adaptation of the play that this is
Yeah,
based
like a
off of.
movie. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that too.
which you know, it's different because it has different characters, but you know, that's it. I might go and watch it after I'm done watching this series just to see like
Yeah.
what did these characters add to this, and like what did like Tomihiko Morini's like, you know, own touches contribute to this world and this plot concept. Uh but yeah, I had a great time watching the first episode, just grinning the whole time. The Tatami Galaxy is great. Tomihiko Morini's books are great. I'm going to buy finally the English release of the Tatami Galaxy is coming out this December. I'm going to purchase that and read it because I have Night is Short. I have that book. I have Penguin Highway. I have Tower of the Sun. I have all of his available books that are available in English. I have them. I think he does a great job at writing like fun and funny and interesting worlds and characters and stories and all that.
Yeah, I also fucking loved it. It was an absolute blast. It kind of snuck up on me, like that it was coming out. I like didn't realize it was gonna be so soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remembered that it was gonna be this year, but then it just was like, oh, this episode one's out, and I was like, oh, holy shit.
Exactly what I experienced. Like I saw a tweet about the first episode. I'm like, wait, it's out?
Like I knew it was coming. I just didn't know the timeline, and I probably could have checked the Mal page about it, but whatever.
Yeah, or like the trailer. Like,
but yeah, once I started watching it, and I was like barely keeping up because of how fast the dialogue was going. I was like, oh yeah, we're back. We're back, baby. It was so good. I am very excited to watch the rest of this. Has Wade seen the original at all? Or
I've seen the original Tatami. I haven't
Yeah.
seen That a Short Walk On Girl.
yeah, watch
Yeah.
that and then the new show.
Yeah.
Night is Short is a masterpiece.
Night is Short is fantastic. It's just like it's so beautifully paced. Like it's so funny. It's so like well put together. Like everything feels like ridiculously intentional, and by the time you've finished watching the movie there is not a single thing that you're still left asking, because like the movie gives you an answer to everything, like everything that it shows on screen. You know exactly how that plays with everything else in the movie, like why it's happened, like everything. It's awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's a great movie and it looks good, and like it's, you know, really funny. There's a little cameo from the cast of what's the other Yuasa movie? With the little mermaid girl.
Oh really?
Yeah.
From Blue Over the Wall? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, there's a cameo in the movie from the band from Lou Over the Wall.
That's awesome.
If you look close enough.
I don't think I had seen Lou when I watched Night is Short the first time, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I just got the Blu-ray, so I'm gonna have to pop it in, rewatch it soon.
I just got the Blu-ray. Speaking of, you know, Tatami Time Machine Blues, directed by Shingo Natsume, I just got the Blu-ray the other day for his previous work, Sunny Boy. I bought the Blu-ray for that.
Yes.
And, you know, that was the best anime of last year, you know, in my opinion, by like a significant margin. I thought it was incredible. I've rewatched it at least like 2 times.
Ooh, I need to rewatch it.
It's so cool. Oh man. I could talk for a while about Sunny Boy, and I think we did.
I adore it.
We have done it before.
Definitely did.
But yeah, I was so over the moon on that show, and of course I am now, if you look at my anime list page, if you look at my my sorted by score, my 10 out of 10s, there are 6 of them, and I own 5 of those shows physically.
Nice.
That's
The
also my goal, is to have as many of them as possible.
Yeah, the only one I'm missing is Planetes, because buying a Blu-ray for that show is a little bit difficult. There is a Blu-ray available, and it's affordable, but the problem is that it's a different region Blu-ray,
Yeah,
because
the
Blu-rays are
classic problem.
still region, so it's like it's a UK region Blu-ray, like Europe region Blu-ray, and it just I don't know. I think I'm reasonably certain that if I put it in my PS5, it'll play it, because I don't think because if the
Yeah.
player isn't region locked, then it can play any region's discs. And I'm pretty sure that Sony just puts the same player in all the PS5s. So I could probably get it, but I just haven't yet. And that's just the one show on my 10 out of 10s that I don't own physically yet. I've got Sunny Boy, I've got Girls Last Tour, I've got Flip Flappers twice, I've got Nishijo, I've got Den no Coil. Just
I'm
haven't got
missing.
Planetes.
I have a lot of 10s, so I'm missing more, but I have a lot of them. I will. I have the same problem with Planetes that you have with Bakano, which had an extremely limited Blu-ray run from Funimation when they had the rights, and the copy of that is, I think, $200 or $300 now,
Ugh.
because it was a limited run. And but there is a version that's like Europe or whatever. That's anyway, same issue. If Funimation could reprint it at any time. Or wait, I don't even know if they still have the rights. I don't know. It's a nightmare. Hard copy anime is so fucked, which is why I steal everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, and I do have a Crunchyroll subscription, so that makes
Me too.
everything that I do legal.
Yeah, it makes it up.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done anything wrong.
Thing is, I have a Crunchyroll and a Disney Plus subscription. It's not my fault Disney doesn't air the anime.
Yeah, that is
region.
true. I feel no shame for that. The fact that Summertime is like still not on there.
Yeah, it's
is
region
ridiculous.
locked for whatever reason. Like, I don't even know if they're ever gonna put it on like Western Disney Plus. Say, and that's the thing with Tatami Time Machine Blues too. Is I think it's Disney Plus.
Yes, it is, and it's not out there yet, which is weird because Disney does do weekly broadcasts. So I'm not
Who knows?
really sure what the deal is and when it'll be available, but it's on there. So or it will be on there. There isn't really any other anime on Disney Plus. I like looked the other day because I was curious, and it's basically just Star Wars Visions, I think.
Yeah, I
So-
think like maybe Disney doesn't think that like anime like in the US like fits that maybe like fits their brand, but they have so many things on there. Like I don't know.
You think that those shows are not going to come to the US first? Because I thought they were. It was just going to be a delay.
I
have
think
no idea.
I don't know cuz like they don't have any anime on there, right? And they have licenses for like more than a couple shows.
Yeah.
I don't know.
know.
Maybe they just get these anime licenses to like air them in the home
no,
countries or whatever, but who knows. I fully recommend stealing anything you can from the Walt Disney Corporation, so
Yeah,
I agree.
they have it coming.
they really do.
But yeah, as far as seasonal anime, that's I think we've covered everything that we've been going over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how some of these wrap up, but that's everything that I am watching right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! There's one more show that just also started this week. We have not talked.
Aw.
I don't know if that counts. I don't know if that counts as a seasonal show.
It counts.
It counts. It's also done. I have only seen the first 2 episodes of it, but it got batch released.
Oh, the cyberpunk show, right?
Yeah, we can't not talk about Edge Runners.
Cyberpunk Edging Runners.
How much of that have y'all seen?
I
0
haven't watched
episodes.
it yet.
Okay.
Is it good?
So, yeah, dude.
Okay.
It's fucking phenomenal, or at least from what I've seen so far.
Okay. Because I did have my expectations kind of tempered by somebody telling me that like Now, this isn't a person that I fully trust their opinion on anime because
Hmm.
I don't know if they use their brain that much when they watch it, but they told me that they thought it was really good looking, but was also kind of boring, which sounds like a Trigger show. Uh, and if that's what that is, I'll watch it. Maybe like it seems like they have a lot of like really cool shots in the trailer.
I know some people that are really anti-Trigger, that like don't like Trigger or the vibes or the shows that they do, and then they liked it. So I don't know what that means.
Ah,
Or like specifically not all of Trigger, but like Imayushi Trigger shows in particular. No, this one okay, so again, I've only seen 2 episodes, so and there's a lot left to cover in it so far, but it has been a pretty insane experience. It's just like this incredibly rich, detailed world. It is super fast paced. All of the characters so far have been really compelling. It's like a little bit more grounded than your typical Trigger show, and it's like because it's so gritty and set in this very like it's a very famous world. Not even just the game, the very popular tabletop system. So
yeah,
there's
because it's
like
all
there's a
based
lot
off
of
the
lore.
tabletop.
There's a lot of lore clearly that they have to work with, and there's a lot of care put into like portraying Night City and how everything works. And so it is still wacky in that Trigger way, but it's a little bit more grounded, because I think some of the subject material is pretty explicit, which is interesting to see. There's like sex and nudity, which isn't something that you see as much in anime.
Yeah, I
or in
heard it's
Trigger
got
shows.
boobies.
It's got boobies in it. It's got a lot.
And they show nipple.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Booba.
It's fun though. You can clearly tell that this is the kind of shit Imayushi would be making if he could get away with it more often, I think. But the other thing is like, fuck man, what I am getting the most out of this so far is that Trigger especially, but all good creators and competent studios should get the American Netflix budget treatment. And like this is
Mm.
one of the first anime that I have truly, this show clearly has money behind it. I mean it's being promoted because it's a popular game that exists. It's like internationally popular and CD Projekt Red is working on it. And then also it's got the Netflix release and it's being promoted really big. So I don't know if y'all know this. They got Franz Ferdinand, the like band.
What?
Yes, they're doing the opening. It was
That's
an original song.
crazy.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
And
fucked.
it's fucking good.
But
too. It's a
Netflix can't
great
get
song.
Fly Me to the Moon for Eva.
No.
I
But
really
they'll get Franz Ferdinand to go.
And
it's
they had
super
Queen for
good. for the
that-
Great Pretender.
yeah. What gives Netflix?
I think they also have some shit in JoJo's.
Yeah. Not that they got that one. I haven't seen that. I'm not JoJo's build.
I started
Oh.
part 6. I don't really want to talk about it yet.
I have to. You know what? Me and you, Ed, will watch part 6.
Yeah, I'm down. I mean, I started the first. I'll go back. Fuck it.
My friends who are big JoJo's heads said that part 2 is better than the first part of the anime. So I hope
Oh,
clearly.
part
Well,
2 of part 6.
Part 2 of part 6.
of
Part
part
6. I mean, I read part 6. Like I'm a JoJo guy. Part 6 has always been like kind of my least favorite. But it's
Misogyny.
still a decent. Part. Yeah,
Hating
it's
women.
misogyny.
But yeah. So just to go back to Edge Runners real quick, it's like a lightning fast show. It goes really quick, and I'm very interested to see where it's going. And it's just like a delight to watch, audiovisual wise. And yeah, it's cool to see this medium at its full potential. Like it's basically movie budget type shit, and I just wish more shows got this level of love and care. But I am very, very glad that a studio like Trigger are the ones getting it in this instance, and like a creator like Imayushi who can like actually flex and utilize it well.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all should both watch it. I might be done with it by the next time we do an episode. I intend to try to finish it this week. I still never been a fan of batch release scheduling. I always think it dampens the effectiveness of like a show's popularity.
Week to week hype.
There's
They're changing it though,
everyone's
right?
talking
Like
about
they're
it.
changing it.
Yes, Netflix is gonna start moving to the weekly model,
Yeah.
and a lot
That's
of other platforms do too. Like I think all the other major ones do that anyway. But yeah, I think Wade especially, you will like this a lot, and I
Yeah,
hope you
true.
both do.
Trigger boy.
Wade's a trigger enjoyer. I'm a little bit of a trigger hater. I'm not
Well, a
actually a
little
trigger
bit, huh?
hater, just because I do
I'm
like some of the trigger shows.
I'm
You
I'm
know.
a massive trigger enjoyer. I like everything that they've made except for the bad shows. But I also like the ones that are good. I really like. Like they're some of my favorite of all time.
Okay.
So
Yeah, are we in the era of like animated video game adaptations that are actually good?
can you name any
Mm.
other one? This is also not an adaptation. It's
Does
like
Or
Advent
it, like-
Children count?
That's
I think
not this
Advent
era.
Children is cool.
I love Advent Children.
Okay, I'm not talking like directly video game adaptations, but like things that take
Just
place
media
in-
properties. Well,
in
I
the
mean, it would.
world because like
They've been
you
good.
got
What else would there be?
there's Netflix Castlevania
Oh,
and there's
Castlevania,
Arcane.
true.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah,
Arcane.
true. Arcane.
Yeah, that's 3 of them. If you
'Cause
count
in my
Edge
mind, I
Runners,
was thinking like, what else are we gonna fucking count? The Dota anime? Like,
no, that
Yeah,
was
hell
Dog.
no.
That was Dog.
I mean, there's been some other ones that have been bad for sure, and there's
Yeah.
plenty of anime adaptations for games, and they're mostly bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the thing is,
yeah.
most anime adaptations of games are anime adaptations of mobile games.
Yeah.
Even the ones
of
that aren't though, like
games
the Ace Attorney
1.5.
anime were ass.
Oh yeah, the Ace
unfortunately.
Attorney anime was pretty bad. Which
Persona
is like, how do you fuck that up as a
animes,
visual novel?
Yeah,
Hyperdimension Neptunia anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
any MMO anime is mostly trash. Y'all hear about that Genshin license? That
Ooh.
fucking
Oh.
whatever the studio that the name is Ufotable is gonna make a Genshin anime.
What?
Which
Ufotable?
honestly is probably gonna be good. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really make stinkers, I guess.
They have before, but like I think with this property, there's enough there.
When was the last
Dude.
stinker that Ufotable made?
Oh, what is it called? I'm gonna find it. It was a while ago. But they have some notable ones. Let me see if I can find
Okay.
the name. Some fucking shit ass God Eater.
Oh.
God is the one I'm thinking of. That's bad. Token Ranbu, also terrible.
Okay.
And then I haven't seen any of the Tales, but I've heard those are all right. So
Yeah, I
But
was
no,
just
most
thinking of
most
like
of the time, it's
Demon
good.
Slayer and Fate. It's
Yeah.
like that's Ufotable's recent history.
Yeah, and they do
Yeah.
pretty good in that one. So I think it's a great idea that will make everyone lots of money. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that about does it for us. We're at a clean hour and 2 minutes, just about.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
Got off
catch
the
you next
field.
time. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Peace.
See you later.
Thanks for watching.